Welcome to part 2 of control structures. Just a quick recap from the previous video. The last thing we looked at was what a sequence was, and the sequence was just a series of steps that go from top to bottom and do not deviate or do not change from those steps. So you have to do this step, this step, this step, this step, and then finish. That's what's called a sequence. In this video, we're going to look at other control structures to control the flow of our steps to solve a problem. So the next type is called a selection control structure. This is when we can choose between one or two or more pathways in our algorithm. The first selection type we'll look at is a binary selection. This implies the word two, which means there's two pathways. So look at the flow chart first. We have a condition. Now this condition is usually a question or an expression or something that returns either a true or false. And based on that condition, we either take one path or the other path. In the first example, if that condition is true, then we'd run process 1. If it's false, we would do nothing. Okay, and there's no process here. So we just skip to the end here, and when the line joins back again, we come back to the main line of the program. So we've broken off into two paths and we've joined back together. Except if that condition was true, we do process 1. And if we look at the correlating pseudocode, okay, we have these if keyword and the end if keyword. So the if and the end if signify the start and the end of the control structure. The condition is the condition that asks the question true or false based on maybe some variables that we have. And the keyword then just says that's the end of the condition. And inside that if and end if is that process 1. So if that's true, this would run. If it's false, we'd skip straight to end if, just like we did here. Let's look at the second flowchart. This time we have a condition and a true or false pathway, but false has a process 2 as well. So if that condition is true, process 1 would run. If that condition is false, process 2 would run instead. And then we'd come back to joining together and continue on our main line. And we can see in the pseudocode, the only difference is this else keyword. So this else signifies if that condition is false, then we jump to else. Okay, so if that's true, do this, else do this. So we have the two options there. And that's what we call a binary selection. I'll just also add, at this point, we can see that we're using this indentation quite a lot now, and we can see how much easier it is to read when the processes are indented like that, because I can see that this process 1 belongs in the true section, and the process 2 in the false. The other type of selection is a multi-way selection. So before it was binary with two selections. However, sometimes we want more than two choices in our pathways, and we use the multi-way selection for that. So the first thing is a expression. Again, this is an expression where we evaluate a variable and see what that variable's value is, and based off that, we do a process given lots of different choices. So, for example, here. If we got an expression for A, so choice A, if that's the expression that we evaluate to, then we do process A. Okay, so what's on the line here is the value or the choice, and then the process is underneath that. If that expression is choice B, then we do process B, and we can continue doing this. So we could do choice C and do process C. And keep doing this for as many different pathways we want. Alternatively, if we want to, we can include this otherwise clause, which basically says if we haven't found an A or a B or a C or any choice that's evaluated, if there's no other option, then do the default process. And we can leave this out. So maybe we don't want anything to happen if none of these choices are dealt with.